Thorfinn Karlsefni. Thorfinn Karlsefni, Old Norse, Þorfinnr Karlsefni Þórðarson, Icelandic, Þorfinnr Karlsefni Þórðarson, was an Icelandic explorer. Around the year 1010 AD, he followed Leif Eriksson's route to Vinland, in a short-lived attempt to establish a permanent settlement there with his wife Guðríður Víðförla Þorbjarnardóttir and their followers. Nickname. The byname Karlsefni means makings of a man according to the preface of Magnus Magnusson and Herman Pálsson, although the Cleasby Vigfusson dictionary glosses it as a thorough man, elaborated elsewhere as a real man, a sterling man. History. Thorfinn's expeditions are documented in the Grönlandinga Saga, Saga of the Greenlanders, and Erik's Saga Rotha, Saga of Erik the Red, which together are referred to as the Vinland Sagas, but the details are at considerable variance, see under #saga sources. Greenland. Thorfinn Karlsefni met in Greenland Guðríður Þorbjarnardóttir, Guðríður Þorbjarnardóttir, widow of Thorstein Eriksson, and wedded her. She had been staying under the care of her brother-in-law Leif Eriksson, at Bradalith, the estate left to Leif by Erik the Red, who was dead by this point, having succumbed to an epidemic ca. 1003, even though has him still alive and playing host to her. Vinland. Thorfinn reached the momentous decision to go to Vinland, on an Icelandic Vinland, which according to GRL, happened at the insistence of Guðríður, and Leif agreed to lend the houses he built in Vinland, though unwilling to make a free gift of it. Among the other settlers into Vinland was Freydis, the sister or half-sister of Leif Eriksson, who may have accompanied Karlsefni's voyage, or headed an expedition of her own that ended in carnage, GRL. According to GRL, Karlsefni left with 60 men and 5 women, trailing the path taken by Leif and Thorvald Eriksson. Whereas in he took 3 ships with 140 men aboard, describing the voyage in greater detail. Guðríður bore Thorfinn a boy in Vinland, who was named Snorra, the first child of European descent known to have been born in the New World and to whom many Icelanders can trace their roots. The exact location of Thorfinn's colony is unknown but is believed to potentially be the excavated Norse camp at Lonso Meadows, Newfoundland. Saga sources. It has been pointed out that Erik's Saga Rotha, distorts the facts by giving undue credit to Thorfinn. For instance, it denies that Thorvald Eriksson ever led his own voyage to reach Vinland, as GRL records, even before Thorfinn. Although Thorvald had met his death by Native American arrows in Vinland before Karlsefni embarked, postponed Thorvald's death so he can be made to accompany Karlsefni to Vinland, ultimately to suffer a more fantastical death from a shot fired by a unit. Shifts over to Karlsefni the credit for naming numerous bits of geographic features, from Helluland and Markland to Kalarns Kielness, though this flatly contradicts the Grönlandinga Saga and is assuredly wrong. Helluland, Baffin Island, and Markland were named by Leif. Kalarnes was where Thorvald had wrecked his ship, and the keel was left to stand as a monument, and not an anonymous shipwreck as puts it. Grönlandinga Saga. According to the Grönlandinga Saga, Thorfinn Karlsefni's expedition commenced after his marriage to Guðríður Þorbjarnardóttir. This marriage to Guðríður was predicted earlier in the saga by Guðríður's first husband Thorstein Eriksson, upon his death. The expedition brought women and livestock, signifying that they planned on being settled in the area for a while. Along the voyage they ate a beached whale. They also cut timber, harvested grapes, and caught fish and game. A bull they brought frightened the native people, Skrælings. They tried to appease the natives by offering milk, but the natives took ill and battles commenced. Guðríður Þorbjarnardóttir gave birth to Thorfinn Karlsefni's son Snorra before they head back to Greenland. Erik the Red Saga. Erik the Red Saga depicts Thorfinn Karlsefni as a successful merchant from Renines, Skagafjord, in the north of Iceland. Karlsefni embarks on a trading expedition with 40 men, and arrive at Bradalid, Greenland, where they are hosted by Erik the Red. Karlsefni marries Guðríður that winter. Karlsefni departs with 3 ships and 140 men in search of Vinland. Karlsefni's expedition winter on a piece of land, where 2 scouting slaves found grapes and wild grain. Eating a beached whale causes illness, as well as a rift. Thrall's group declared the whale to be a boon from Thor, offending the Christian members, and they part ways. Karlsefni's expedition discovers further south a bountiful area full of wheat, fish, and game. They attempt contact with the natives who travel in hide-covered boats. The natives leave and the Greenlanders winter there, where their livestock flourish. The following spring, the expedition re-encounter the natives and engage in trade with them, until a bull breaks free and frightens away the natives. The native return after 3 weeks with hostile intent, a skirmish ensues, and the Greenlanders attempt as best they can to flee into the forest. Karlsefni and his men are saved by Freydis, who scares the natives off by slapping her bare breast with a sword taken from one of the fallen Greenlanders. The expedition heads back north, and Karlsefni searches for Thorvald in vain. Karlsefni's men encounter the one-legged creature that is said to have shot Thorvald Eriksson dead with an arrow. Karlsefni's son Snorre is born in the New World. But they eventually leave, and after spending time in Greenland to Erik the Red, Karlsefni and Guðríður return to Karlsefni's farm at Rennes, in Iceland. Family background. Thorfinn Karlsefni's father was Tord Horsehead, Þorfinnr Hestholfti Snorrason, and his mother was named Thorinn. Tord Horsehead was son of Snorre, son of Tord of Hofti. Thorfinn was presumably raised at his father's estate called Stath, in Rennes, Ranastathar. This estate was located in the Skagafjord Bay area, which is also where Thorfinn's great-grandfather established roots, at his farm of Hofti in Hoftastrand. Thorfinn himself also retired in the area in his later years, while Erik's saga says he went back to his farm in Rennes. Grönlandinga saga states he bought new lands at Glommy. A more detailed genealogy, under Erik's saga Rotha, ch. 7, is interpolated in the H.R. Hauksbok text of Haukar Erlendsson. Haukar had particular interest since he himself claimed descent from Thorfinn. However, Haukar's ancestral trace before Karlsefni's great-grandfather Tord of Hofti deviates from other sources, and the Lodnamabok version is deemed more reliably accurate. Though not shown in the family tree, right, Thorfinn also claims descent from the matriarch Odd the Deep-Minded through Tord Geller. In modern art. In the early 20th century, Icelandic sculptor Einar Jónsson was commissioned by Joseph Bunford Samuel to create a statue of Thorfinn Karlsefni through a bequest that his wife, Ellen Phillips Samuel, made to the Fairmount Park Art Association, of Philadelphia, now the Association for Public Art. Her bequest specified that the funds were to be used to create a series of sculptures emblematic of the history of America. Thorfinn Karlsefni, 1915–1918, was installed along Philadelphia's Kelly Drive near the Samuel Memorial and unveiled on November 20, 1920. There is another casting of the statue in Reykjavik, Iceland. As reported on October 1, 2018, vandals did severe damage to the statue. They toppled the statue and then dragged it into the nearby Schuylkill River. It appeared the statue was pulled off its massive stone base, which measures 12 by 12 feet wide. Bits of stone were scattered across drag marks on the ground and the bronze could be seen bubbling underwater in the river. NBC Philadelphia. In popular culture. The 1967 comedic science fiction novel The Technicolor Time Machine by Harry Harrison reveals at its ending that the character named Otar, an 11th century Viking hired by a film studio as consultant and actor, is indeed Thorfinn Karlsefni. A fictionalized version of Thorfinn Karlsefni is the protagonist of the Japanese manga series Vinland Saga by author Makoto Yukimura. Footnotes. Explanatory notes. Citations.